over Kiryu's new voice actor, especially his karaoke performance. And this is Like a Dragon, not Infinite Wealth, but Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. Shout out to Young Ye. We had him on ILP before. But yeah, there's a bit of controversy. While Young Ye himself posted a clip of the English voice actor performance alongside the original Japanese version, it was a karaoke clip that really blew up in the Yakuza community. Many fans have shared their less than enthusiastic response to the performance, while others have rushed to defend Young Ye, and some have even called out developer RGG, I'm just going to say, I always butcher it, for not bringing in professional singers. So this has gone extremely viral. People are, I'm not going to read all the negative tweets, it's a lot, but basically I want to get Young Ye's response. And he put out a series of tweets in reference to this. He said, I appreciate all those reaching out with kind words on Kiryu. Always knew some toxicity was coming, or that not everyone would be on board. But I'm glad to see more people are warming up to my version, and I'm excited for people to see Kiryu's full journey. Wish I could show more. He goes on, I get the apprehension. You've been listening to an iconic voice for almost 20 years and have a very clear idea of how he should sound. My voice is not 100% match, and it's not supposed to be. Similarly to how, say, English and Japanese versions of Snake sound vocally distinct. But hopefully, Kiryu's aura and vibe for the English version will come across as you hang out and become more familiar with him. I hope you warm up to it like I did. There's a lot that hasn't been shown, and I'd show more if it wasn't for me. He said there's obviously the option for you to pick your preferred language. He goes on because he's a long. He talks about, the new particular one, and then I believe someone, because the toxic portion of his message, some people had an issue with, and someone said to him, not all criticism is toxic. You need to learn how to take it on chin and move on. So Young Ye responds, he says, I agree. Never said that all criticism is toxic, but there's a line between being critical and being a straight up a-hole. And the last thing I do want to add to this discussion is some fans are pointing out his critique of Chris Pratt Mario's voice, and he has some comments in reference to that, and he said it wasn't a good fit, and people are kind of trying to bring that up to use against him and say, hey, this is kind of what we're saying.
I thought Chris Pratt knocked it out the park.
I thought you did a good job too.
Fair enough. So look, this is the big one. This Addicts topic. I know you're passionate about it, bro. Let's get to it.
So I played like an hour of the game and I had to drop it. Just that kind of gameplay is just not for me.
Yeah.
I either want like realistic type of stuff like that, or completely off the ball stuff, and I'm sitting there getting like some magical rope wrapping around people, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm good.
So you're implying that the Ichiban games are better, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
so
I like the Ichiban, because at least Ichiban, they acknowledge that Ichiban is full
the agenda.
I knew the agenda was
I'm
coming.
going to push my agenda. I'm going to push my
agenda.
Like at least with the Ichiban one,
new joint.
They state we're full of it. Like,
get your balls off. You cook it.
Like, I'm trying, but you keep making keyline.
I'm sorry.
Like, at least with the Ichiban ones, like they just state we're full of it. Like everything is over the top. Ichiban is literally essentially having a mental breakdown in his head, and everything else around him is normal. But I acknowledge they found a very good middle ground to. This is real. This is not real. I feel like the main characters in the Yakuza regular franchise, they're anime characters in the real world. Like it's like I played that, and when they were explaining the how to play the game, like he's sitting there wrapping them with like magical rope and throwing them everywhere. I'm just like, what are we doing? I thought this was the realistic type of game.
That's how the franchise used to be. The franchise used to be this beat 'em up. Boom, boom. That's what it was. And I'm with you. I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? But what about the character himself? And then obviously the voice acting, which is the controversy right now with Young Ye.
All right. So ironically, the dub version isn't out. So I can't really speak on the entire, which is interesting that it's not out, because I would feel like it would probably be out at the same time. I'm very curious. People in the chat, did Sega ever come out openly and like explain why the dub was delayed? Because I haven't heard it.
Yeah, I gotta ask Yakuza Hardcore. Has this ever happened where the dub is not out on release, the English dub at the same time? I don't know. I don't follow the Yakuza from the beginning.
Yeah, as far as like Young Ye's, I did see the stuff going around on Twitter, and it has been deemed that is from the game, is dubbed. I'm pretty sure that's from the game. It's just not it. It isn't. You know, when I listen to it, like I'm like, I guess I'm playing this game in sub. Like,
Fair enough.
it's just what. Even me not knowing this character, I listen to this and it doesn't sound like the verbiage that this character would have, like the way he moves himself.
One quick second, Nintendo on top. He on it. He said there was no dubs at all until Like a Dragon. He says, interesting. Okay.
So it's just like, to me, you know, when it comes down to this whole scenario, it's just like maybe because I've been told that some of other Young Yates is drastically better. Maybe this just wasn't his role, you know, because it's like to me, I feel like I'm watching a Young Ye video.
Like it sounds like
when he's talking to him. It doesn't like I felt like when he was on our show and he was pitching his voice up and down, that sounded more like voice acting than I seen on this particular thing. And it's just like, it's sad because I know this is so important from Young Ye, but at the same time, like, blocking people that, like, I understand that people generally being an asshole towards you. Those people deserve to be blocked. Right. But it's like blocking people that are just saying, yo, I didn't like this performance. Like, that's not a good look. It's just not, because it's just like, I get it's hard for me. It's easy for me to say that when I'm not in the moment like he was.
And the whole world hitting your Twitter line. You
but this is Young Ye we're talking about. He should be used to that.
Fair enough.
Like, he's constantly getting criticized for everything.
Maybe it becomes a time when you're sick and tired of being constantly criticized for doing your best.
I feel, but
Thanks.
At the same time, man, it's just like, you know, I like Young Ye as a content creator, but the more and more I see him as a voice actor, I'm like, yeah, I just personally felt like there's no way they couldn't have found someone that sounded more genuine to the actual person that used to do it.
Okay. Fair enough. Lord Solve, the raging controversy, Like a Dragon Gaiden, our man's Young Ye, and it's really spicy in these Twitter streets, man. It's really spicy. Where we at?
I don't play Yakuza like that.
Sorry, real quick. He's gonna be one of the social links in Persona 3 Reloaded as well. So
he's gonna be right. I know. Yeah, Cog mentioned this yesterday.
And he upset the Yakuza fan base, upset the Persona fan base. They're very extra.
Well, this is the thing.
I don't think so. I think that Yakuza stuff, upsetting that fan base, is a little bit different.
It was the main protagonist, right? And someone they've been around for years. But I'll let Saul. We interrupted Saul. We always interrupt Saul.
Apologize.
We always do. Sorry.
I mean, I don't play them, so I don't know. I know that I would play them dubbed if I did play them, right? I played some a little bit, but nothing crazy like that. I think I got like maybe 10 hours into Yakuza 0, which was, again, the previous voice actor, right? I'm thinking that's the previous voice actor if they did do a dub for that. What I have heard of what the previous voice actor has done in comparison to Young's performance in Gaiden and also whatever the little clips they have of him in Infinite Wealth, I do sort of feel, I think we discussed this yesterday, Cog, where it's like the older voice feels like an older, like an older sort of Kiryu, whereas
in his 50s.
If you're thinking about this guy that's reached the end of his journey, kind of, or he's an older protagonist, Young's voice doesn't match that. Young's voice sounds like a younger version.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
Whereas that the older voice actor has more sort of deep gravitas in his voice that sort of fits an older version of that. That's all I would say about that. I just think, for me, what bothered me about this whole situation is that you have to stop and think for a moment when you call out a person for saying, oh, you don't have a thick skin. You say these things, but then you can't take your medicine back in return. And you have to imagine what that is like in real time. Like, the internet isn't the same thing as real life. Imagine millions of people coming at you in real life. We walk into a room and there's a million people in there yelling at you about how much you suck. It's hard. You know, I don't care what you said in the past. I don't care what you said online or whatever. That's a difficult thing to process when it feels like the entire narrative is that your version of this is no good. That's a hard thing to have to deal with. And I agree to the point is like, well, you know what you signed up for, right? To a certain extent. At the same time, it bothers me that so many people online, people that I consider to be cool and good, use that as a whataboutism. It's like, well, you know, hey, you know, you did sign up for this. You are making millions of dollars, you know, being a content creator, whatever. You should know this is coming, and that be okay for them to have to deal with. And the fact of the matter, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. How, again, always put yourself in somebody else's shoes and say, hey, how would you feel if somebody you walked into a room, people just started yelling at you, and not yelling at you good things? Basically, most of the narrative was, this is not good. This is not, and it's based off of a small sample size.
Fair,
right?
Fair. The only pushback, which we kind of discussed yesterday off the record, is where fans are saying, okay, what you're saying is fair, but fans are like, yo, in the same token, you went at Chris Pratt for not being an exact match for how Mario's voice should sound, and thus with those receipts that they're putting up,
and
like how
one thing I will say real quick is a big content creator like Yang Yi going after Chris Pratt probably resulted in a lot of people going after Chris Pratt.
I think, yeah. I mean, would I say that people online sort of created the narrative around Chris Pratt not being a good fit for Mario? Because I know the casual didn't do it. The casual person who was probably the majority of people who went to see this movie, right, did not care that Chris Pratt was Mario. In fact, was probably excited that Chris Pratt was Mario, right?
Yep.
And us, the ones that are kind of in the know, that were around that conversation, a lot of us went to see the movie and was like, he was fine. He was really good. Right. Because at the end of the day, Mario has to talk, and in a way that he's never spoken in any other product, right?
Yeah. Check the chat when y'all get a chance. I just sent y'all something. Keep talking.
Our personal chat, or
our chat,
our chat. Right now.
He had to speak in a way that he's never spoken in any product apart from maybe the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, right? Or the original Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo and and Bob Hoskins. So to me, it's like, my thing is this. Yes, it should. Young probably looking back on it was like, hey man, me being tough on these other voice actors and not liking this, although I'm expressing my opinion, came back to bite me here because there were receipts that says, hey, you're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite. And he's gonna have to deal with that as it is. My thing is, think about for a moment before you start ripping on one person how that whole thing plays out. And just be more thoughtful. Like when I looked at some of these chats, and it's like, oh, I threw up on my controller. Stupid things. You're the worst. You should die. Like what the hell?
That's left. That's left. Yeah, that's left. Yeah.
This is where to me, and the problem is that if you actually have something to say, it gets lost in all that drivel.
True.
Right?
True.
And so when I can see somebody looking at that and be like, I don't want to listen to any of it because all of it feels like it's just negative, even the stuff that feels constructive or even the stuff that isn't mean-spirited, it's still something you got to deal with. So again, for me, at the end of the day, there's choice. And from what I've heard, most people just play this with the Japanese voices and the subtitles anyway. So if it's not for you, hey, I will say this though. He has gotten other jobs. Sega obviously feels he's the man for it, and if they feel after this and Infinite Wealth that he's not, they'll change him, right?
Do you think there's any truth to the suspicions of delaying the English dub based on any type of reaction that they're getting right now, or you think that's just gonna be coincidental?
Well, I mean, that was again the delay of the English dub. I heard about that a while back that it wasn't ready, right? So
okay.
I don't know what the specific circumstances behind that was, but it could be. I mean, now could be after this reaction, right? Because after this reaction, maybe there's something that says, "Hey, I don't know what we can do, clean this up a little bit or whatever." To a specific point about the karaoke, again, that goes back to Sega and RGG. Like,
good point.
So, like,
good point.
Like you picked him, right? So if you needed somebody that sang better, then that's on you. You picked him. Like
Right.
you gonna tell me you didn't remember that you're gonna have these karaoke moments in the game?
I think
And to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
technically, karaoke, you're supposed to suck at karaoke. It's not like it's not supposed to be the hottest.
supposed to be
you're
the
not
hottest
supposed to be
American
Mariah
Idol?
Carey, the
think
karaoke it up. So it's like I don't know, man.
I think where I'm different from you in this is I don't co-sign people dogpiling, people attacking them on personal levels.
Correct.
But at the same time, I'm all for the constructive criticism as long as you're respectful, because this is also a content creator individual that has built his whole roots of constructive criticism on everyone else.
Fair.
Yeah, fair. And I just think when he takes a moment to think about it, he's gonna realize that he's emotional in the moment. Feels like everybody's coming at him, and he probably made a few bad decisions in who he blocked and because of what was said, right? And we're human, we that happens. At the end of the day though, like at the end, this is my thing. At the end of the day, maybe he doesn't feel that way. That's one. And two, they hired him and he is the voice. He is the English dub voice for Kiryu moving forward until Sega says otherwise. You don't like it, don't listen to it. People saying they're not going to play the game as a result of it. I get it. Maybe if you've always listened, if you came on board to this series when dubs were a thing, and now you're not getting a dub that you like, I see you not, I can see that not, wanting to continue. But beyond that, like, you have a choice to play it a different way. Play it a different way. And again, if the blowback is that heavy, I imagine that Sega will do something about it. But the man has also done other voice work that I don't see anybody sort of egregiously sort of calling out as saying is the worst. So to Addict's point, maybe it's a tough sell for people coming off of this kind of iconic voice that it feels like it fits the character perfectly to a voice that feels younger. I remember, and this isn't exactly a one-to-one situation, but we talked about this last night as well. Splinter Cell Blacklist comes out and there's no Michael Ironside. Is a younger, and obviously it's a younger version of Sam Fisher, but at the same time, it just did not feel like Sam Fisher at all because that voice was so iconic. We talked about Metal Gear Solid 5, and then Kojima decided, okay, David Hayter, whatever, we need Kiefer Sutherland to come in here.
That was a big one.
And read what was mostly a non-existent script for Snake in that game. So it's a preference thing. Just don't attack people like that. Like be better about that. Be better about that.
That is not what the internet is for.
It's not. No, it's not what the internet. It's not what it is.
It's about that smoke, son.
Nah.
Oh my God.
If you for the smoke, it's about that smoke. You can't be out here giving out smoke, and when smoke come your way, you be like, oh, I don't like the smoke. It's smoke.
One thing I will say is,
but smoke is coming his way. But you got to think about if somebody come in here.
Nah, don't worry. I got it.
No, I feel you.
I'm messing
but if
with
somebody come at you, no, I know. But again, if somebody start attacking you personally and saying out of pocket things, like out of pocket,
then
things,
I should not be in a public space then. I should not be in a public space because let me tell you something. It's a reason why I put a camera on. I put the camera on because I hope you keep the same energy and put your camera on too. Because when I see you, I'm smack you.
And that's the thing. I think people have gotten comfortable with
on the Lord's Day.
No, it's supposed to be.
Don't supposed to be no violence on the Lord's Day.
Because you know what it is? I come with peace, right? So, if you got it, you got it. But I can't wait till you finish.
But I will say this. It kind of feels like the level of right. There's no anonymity. We know who he is, right? But there's still that barrier, that buffer, where it's like you don't see these people, and people are still very willing to say all kinds of wild stuff to you on the internet.
Facts. See him in person, they like,
how you doing? Like,
I catch you in that bathroom stall like I ran up on Mobb Deep and say, yo, speak to my cousin now.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
He's standing at the urinal like,
I'm like, why is Havoc from Mobb Deep on the phone with me? I'm like, what is going on?
FaceTime my cousin now.
Thank you, Thug King, for your Sunday
I think
contributions.
Let me run down on you. I'll catch you.
Stop it. Stop it. It's the Lord's Day. Continue.
The biggest thing I would just say is, take the criticism, man. Take the ones that you feel is valid. and improve your next performance as him, because you know I personally didn't like it, but you know I didn't really. And this is coming from someone that almost watches everything dubbed.
Right.
I'm used to bad dubbed, but it just didn't feel like. It just felt like he was talking. Like
it felt like, yeah, that's the criticism right there. It was him being him. It was him being him and not acting. I mean, we've seen that. We've seen that too in a lot of circles.
This scene, I want you to be a cowboy.
And it's like
he goes, I reckon.
Yo, y'all messy. Y'all messy.
Yeah. So again, I will say this. If it's constructive criticism, also don't, you have to also look in the mirror and be like, hey, where can I improve, right? Where can I improve? Instead of taking the other route and being like super defensive about it and staying that way, that's not a positive thing either.
The moment he started blocking people consistently, and he would, like, apparently Alex said he did the research. He was searching his name on Twitter, Alex thinks, and just proactively blocking people that were negatively speaking. And it's just like the moment you do stuff like that,
you got to pre-block.
No, but if he
went on a blocking spree.
If he was truly doing that,
he used AI.
If he was truly doing that, all he did was make it worse. Because now you're going to get also people criticizing you. You're also going to now get people criticizing you for blocking people without even really having an interaction with them. You're going to get the people that are like, yo, why are you being like this considering you do nothing your entire time you've been on YouTube criticizing people? So I feel like he only had one door hitting him. And then when he started blocking people proactively like that, he opened up like another 4 or 5 doors hitting them.
Yeah, I would say it's not a good thing if you start seeking out the negative content about you.
You use the AI algorithm. Said, listen, anybody that brought up my name, I want you to block them. He said,
you see Kid Smooth blocking theme song in the background the whole time he's doing blocking.
Yeah, so let's all be better. Let's be better. Let's attempt to be better.
King, I assume you have something different to say, so we're gonna bring it to you.
I saw the video. I listened to it. I don't play the games. I haven't played the games. I'm a fraud. So like when it came in Game Pass, I was capping for it. Like, Jay, what? Yo, ain't played none of them.
Fraud alert.
Game Pass. Yeah, they just dropped another one right now, so I ain't played. But I heard it and I was just like, oh, it sounds like Yang. So what? Obviously Sega wanted Yang. Are y'all upset because they wanted Yang, or y'all upset because he dissed Chris Pratt? Like, hey, somebody, well, you was talking bad about Chris Pratt. Like,
I mean, but this is a beloved character.
Stop snitching, bro. Stop snitching, bro.
Beloved character.
Yo, that guy needed to get blocked. But I'm gonna give a word of advice.
Yeah.
Give a word of advice.
Let's go.
When you mute them, they can't see it.
I will mute.
Mute is effective. Mute is effective.
Mute is definitely
the hell out of
Mute is effective.
Because he was on the show.
Yes.
And
I see mute as like a giant mute in real life. Like I mute them. They're screaming on Twitter, and I can't hear them.
I'm telling you, he was on the show. He's super proud of what he's
super proud.
Right.
That's why I hate this happened to him the most.
This is I don't care what happens to anybody. You got to get what you're gonna get. Whatever lesson you need to learn, you got to learn it. So this is a learning lesson from him. He didn't lose. He just heard a fans base criticism of how they felt about a character that he portrayed. Now, this is what happens when you dance to your own music. You come outside and you take your dance moves to the club. You thought you killing it, and you thought everybody cheering you on, but they was laughing at you. Now that this happened, how do you recover from this? Do you take this and you work on your craft better so that the next time you do this character, it actually hits where they want to feel it? Pause. Or do you curl up in your shell, start blocking people, and point, you the problem, I'm not the problem? You can do it either way. I'm going to tell you, mute people so it doesn't crash in on you all at once.
Or just go off Twitter for a few weeks. Like
some people can't. This addiction to this stupid little thing is crazy. Yeah. It's a terrible addiction, but the problem is seeking validation from others will lead you to the road of ruin faster than anything else. And what you have to do is find that validation within yourself. Now, if you did your best, then that shouldn't bother you, right? But if you felt that you left something on the table, I can see where the criticism can start to affect you because you didn't feel like you did your best. But if you did your best, and that's all that you can ever do in this world is do your best, and you came up short, then so what? But you tried, and you did what the 99% aren't doing. They're not trying. They're criticizing you for trying, and I want to hear their voice in a video game.
I feel that. I'll jump in. Look, disclosure, Lord Cognito is biased. Lord Cognito is biased here. I met Young Ye in person, shook his hand, looked that man in his eye, had chopped it up, great conversations. And to me, he's a real one based on the vibe and the energy that was presented. I spoke to a lot of people and I move around to these shindigs and stuff like that. And not everybody is as they see. You know what I'm saying? And I will say my interaction with him was positive, and he was a man of his word. He pulled up. A lot of people, I'll do it, I'll do your show, whatever. He pulled up. So look, at the end of the day, does that mean he's absolved from criticism? No, of course not. You know what I'm saying? I listened to the performance. I have to admit, it sounded more like Young Ye on a video, Young Ye, as opposed to Kirio. Now, mind you, I am new to the series. I have not been with this character from the beginning, so everyone knows what the inflection is and how it's supposed to sound, so to speak. But I will say this. One, like King said, Sega picked him. RGG picked him. So if you have an issue with the performance, they co-signed this performance, right? So
you expect Young Ye not to take that?
That's where I'm about to go. And we got to be 100, y'all. Listen, forget he's a fellow content creator with me or whatever.
Even if he knew for a fact he couldn't do that, the amount of exposure you would get would be ridiculous.
Your favorite franchise pull up on you and say, you going to be the voice of such and such, and we going to give you a bet. You going to say no?
Sob, you're the protagonist of Red Dead 3.
Yeah, you gonna say no? Nah, son, I don't need. You gonna try your best or whatever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Sega allowed this. They are the ones that co-signed and said yes. Yep. Now I have no reasons. I am not a voice actor, but if the man gave his best and they say, "Yup, that's it," is he supposed to say, "Nah, son, I don't. I ain't really worthy of this just yet. Y'all take this back. Y'all get this to someone else or whatever." So that's where I'm at. And here's the other thing. We got to be 100% real too. And I had this conversation with Solve yesterday, which is there are certain roles. Think of this, King, like Optimus Prime. Right? If God forbid, it's iconic role. God forbid.
Well, they have killed Optimus.
Oh, shut up. But
they got a whole toy about that.
Peter, shut up.
What's it look like, King?
Shut up. I hate you right now.
You should pull it up. So
we are not pulling up. Time on y'all when I'm doing my point. But here's my point. These iconic roles, God forbid if Peter Cullen passes away, right? There's a replacement role up for the famous Optimus Prime. And some dude come out with Optimus, yes, y'all, let's roll out, y'all, right? Y'all gonna throw tomatoes at the screen.
they got Red Man as Optimus.
Red Man is Optimus, right? So if Red Man come out Optimus,
he go Autobots to the streets.
Right. You gonna be like, yo, this is the worst. Unless you
get him out of
copy.
Work your magic, Autobot.
Do that thing. Unless you
do the black girl thing.
Black Autobot's magic.
Jazz and Blaster, the homies.
I can just see it now. We gotta go, Autobots. The 5-0's on its way.
5-0, yo, chill.
Teddy up, hold your head.
Autobots, one time. But
Autobots, there's 12 on the corner.
Some people were asking about my shirt. It's a Jujutsu Kaisen shirt.
Dope. So all I'm saying is the person is in the LL unless they straight bite the style of Peter Cullen, right? And you imitate Peter Cullen's version. That's the only way you safe. It's the same way with someone taking Starscream. You know Starscream is iconic with the yelling, Megatron. Like, if you don't do that, you say, yo, Megatron, my dude, what's going on? It ain't gonna go. So that's all I'm saying. He was in a L regardless if he did not try to attempt to do the English dub version of Kiryu regardless. That's all I'm trying to say. But, you know, at the end of the day, I do understand.
So you trying to say they set him up?
Listen, you know who somebody told me? Shout out to Kaibatsu. We do know, as great as Yakuza is, it is not a franchise that has sold well in the West, so to speak. Right. So, I'm not trying to disrespect Young Ye. The man's been doing voiceovers and stuff prior to this and all that. But we have to admit that he does have a following, over 1 million subs or whatever, right? This is a huge guy.
I'm kind of curious.
Right. So
he's got a huge following. Did he make more than the average voice actor would make for this?
We're pocket watching now.
I ain't pocket watching.
No, I'm not pocket watching. What I'm wondering is like,
pocket watch question.
Can you let me finish my statement?
I could go for it.
From someone that would normally get this, because he does have that YouTube following. Is he allowed to ask for more? I'm kind of curious. I don't know how that goes.
I don't know how the bag works. All I'm trying to say is
I can tell you how it goes.
How it go?
I can tell you, I got 1 million subscribers. And you try to give me the check that the dude that got 10,000 subscribers got, we ain't doing that, bro. I got 1 million subscribers. My people don't like what you just said to me.
But and they go, what if they give you 1 million subscriber bread? You taking it?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna look at them like they're stupid. And
all right then. So I ain't gonna get mad at my man for taking the bag, and they said yes. And guess what? You get to say King David is the voice of Megatron. King David is the new voice of Megatron.
Phil hit me up and 343 said we need you to be the voice of Master Chief. Well, you got that.
Exactly.
King. I'm kind of curious how King would handle Master Chief's voice.
Yeah. Same way I can't handle all voices. The same. Hold the line. That's it. Just like that. He didn't do a Master Chief voice. King, he just did
King. Nah, King. We got to hear Spartans out. We got to hear that from you right now.
Let's roll out, Spartans.
At the end of the day, look, I get it. If you don't like it, bro, just switch the joint. Put your dub on, and that's it. But I understand the criticism. I understand it. And hopefully, like I said, it's a learning experience from him with this whole situation with how to handle it. But I do understand the whole world coming at you, too. It's kind of crazy. That is what it is.
Wow.
You know, I have a very small following. I couldn't imagine what it's like to have,
imagine you work up to your phone
people.
And you got 1 million. Everybody's bombing on you. It's the human element, y'all. The human
and that's
element.
the people. Imagine people that follow you and people that don't follow you, because that's the worst, when people that that follow your content that you think are just positive on you in general, just ripping into you, and then they have a direct line to you as well.
Every time someone speaks to like negative about an opinion or something I had on Twitter, first thing I do is see if you follow me on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie, like I have a very